Hello? People have had phones for a while. They use them as gadgets for communicating with others, including those that are very important to them. But some have had calls from really psychotic people, and I have gathered up 10 weird phone calls or phone stories, whatever you want to call them, that people have received in their lives. And these are not from your ordinary children that do prank calls every now and then. Number 10. Many years ago, when I was married to my first husband, I received a telephone call at about 4:20 a.m. It was my elder brother telling me he had just gotten married. The call woke up my husband, and I spoke with my brother for about 5 minutes. I hung up and went back to sleep. About a week or so later, I was visiting my mother's home, and my brother was there with his wife. I thanked him for calling me, and I got this odd stare, and his mouth fell open. He told me he had called our mother, but he never called me. I turned to my mother, and she related the entire conversation she had with him, and then I related my entire conversation I had with him. And these conversations were identically all the same. So, who pranked me up? Number 9. This strange incident happened at our home at Christmas. My husband had his cell phone on our dining room table, and it was turned off for the evening. My purse was in our library where my husband was playing on a computer game with our daughter. In my purse had my cell phone turned on. As my husband and daughter were playing, my cell phone rang. My husband picked it up, said the incoming call was from his phone. He thought our son was playing a prank on us and ran into the room where we had our son. We told him to stop messing around with his cell phone. All of a sudden, he laughed at us and asked us what were we talking about. He said your phone just rang and the call was coming from my phone. This is where things get weird. My son and I were both in the same room together, talking, and neither of us had left the room. We weren't even in the same room as my husband's cell phone at all. My husband checked his phone, and sure enough, it was off, as he had just left it. We can't figure out how a call came onto my phone from his phone, and when his phone was off, our son called his phone. No one in the room had his phone. Strange indeed, we were pretty mystified over the whole incident for sure. Number 8. My wife usually picks me up from work, and she doesn't work far from me. One Tuesday night, we were driving home when I asked her how my dad's computer classes were going. My dad usually attended computer classes every Tuesday night. She said she didn't know much because she hadn't spoke to him about it. She asked me why. I replied, well, I was speaking to him and he said he was having some trouble. They had been giving him 3 assignments to complete, but he couldn't finish assignment number 2 as the computer wouldn't save as. I think he eventually managed to do them all, though, with the Google Docs. Oh, right, my wife said. That night, with the conversation my wife forgotten, I was sitting watching TV. My dad knocked on the door. He said I was speaking to your wife earlier about the conversation you had in my computer classes. How did you know we had 3 assignments? And how trouble was the second one? Confused, I said, you told me that on the phone. He said, no, I didn't. There's no way I could have done that, because I just came from my computer class, and I never drive my phone in the car. And you had the conversation with your wife before I went, and what you told your wife happened tonight. I couldn't have known we had 3 assignments, as I missed last week's class. We both just sat there looking at each other, trying to figure out how and why what was going to happen before it did. I was sure he had spoken on the phone about it, though. Who knows? He maybe just forgotten about it. Number 7. It was sitting beside a curb outside my apartment. A white iPhone 5S in surprisingly good condition. I scooped it up from the ground to get a closer look at it. It probably belonged to a high school girl, judging by the horrendously glittering purple case. I admired the phone anyway. Tacky though, the case was, it had protected its charge farewell. The phone had not only survived what I assumed was fall from a careless girl's book bag, but it was pristine condition. No hardline cracks, no dings, no dents, no nothing. As I marched into my apartment, throwing my bag on the floor, shedding my coat off and my shoes, and continued inspecting the phone. Whoever lost it must surely be missing it. I pressed the home button and the screen lit up. I swiped right and I discovered the phone was not, in fact, locked. Heh, thank God for that stupid teenage girl. I searched the contacts and found one labeled Mom. Pressed the call button. Nothing. Just an answering machine. It was though the touchscreen hadn't registered my fingertips. Puzzled, I pressed call again, and just a stupid answering machine. It was that moment I got a call on my own cell phone. A black iPhone 4S. I swiped it to answer, and the voice of my best friend reached my ears. Hey Amanda, how was your test today? The phone momentarily forgotten, I fell into a deep conversation with Anna. We chatted for about 20 to 30 minutes, till it got to the point where we got bored. Eventually she asked me, You busy tonight? There's a cool club that opened not too long ago, downtown with a few friends. Wanna go? I glanced around in the comfort of my apartment. I was pretty good where I was. I preferred to sit inside and read a good book, as opposed to my going out with Anna, who was probably getting into heaps of trouble. Anyways, sort of it isn't opposites extract. As much as I wanted to stay tonight, though, I smiled and agreed, much to Anna's squealing delight. We set up plans and I hung up the phone. Then I remembered the other phone sitting on my couch. Dejected, I picked it up and opened it to the owner's mother's contact information. That's right, I punched the number into my own phone and hit call. I could at least call this anyway. The phone rang for a few moments. I was about to leave a message when an exhausted voice came in the speakers. Yeah? I tried not to be put off by this rude response. Hi, my name's Amanda. I found this phone outside my apartment. I think it belongs to your daughter. Is there any way I could get it to her? The line was quiet for a moment. Then someone barked at her. Hi. The line was quiet for a moment again. Then heavy breathing. Then she said, You think this shit is funny? Quit with these stupid freaking pranks. Her main speech was for a few moments after she hung up on me. What the hell was her problem? Thoroughly confused, I rechecked the number. I had dialed the right number, of course. Well, whatever, I shrugged. I couldn't make sense of it, but it was really my problem either. Sooner or later, someone was bound to call her, then I'd pick up and I explained the situation to them. It wouldn't get resolved somehow, would it? Then suddenly I heard a loud beeping noise. What the hell? Apparently the caller ID was restricted. Hello? I asked. Static. Hello? The static was so intense and was only getting louder. I tried calling out a few more times, but no response. I just started moving the phone away to my ears from the loudness. The call ended. Huh. It must have been a stupid phone. I was getting nowhere with this. I went back to my book and spent a few peaceful hours reading. An hour before reading time, I grudgingly pulled a dizzy shirt on and over my head. One that I borrowed from Anna, of course, and paired with some black booty shorts. Heh. I put on flats and applied cherry red lipstick. I figured I had prepared as much as I wanted to, and just when I was about to head out the door, I heard the same ringtone again. I couldn't deal with it anymore. I picked it up. What is going on? Hello? And then there was absolutely no sound. It sounded like something on the line was going dead. Seriously. What was the problem with this dang thing? Maybe I should just take it to the police station and that morning and let the cops deal with it. Can you hear me? I let out a yelp. The woman's voice had come in loud and clear, patient and toneless, but it sounded off. There was another noise on that phone. I put the receiver next to my ear again, cautiously this time. Hello? Hey, do you know whose phone this is? And click, call ended. By this point, I was getting ticked. Was someone playing another freaking game with me? What the hell's going on? I tossed this phone back on the couch. Enough of this. I would deal with it when I got home. Maybe if I let Anna deal with it. She was better at this kind of stuff than I was. My heart was racing mad, and my brain went into practical mode. Luckily, I slept at Anna's that night. Yeah, it was fun. I knew she would let me do it. One of her friends looked just like me. He was tall, he had black hair, and he was buff, just like I was. She took me home early that morning so I could get showered, eat breakfast, that way I could get going to school. However, when I flew the phone down on the table, there was an attachment file. It was a message from the restricted number again. I opened the attachment. Its side was a picture of me, taken from inside the club when I was talking to Bad Boy. Well, that's the friend that looks like me. It was taken no more than a few feet away from me. I dropped the phone to the floor. I could practically feel my face draining, a white pallor setting in my cheeks. My heart was racing like mad. My brain went into practical mode. Now I knew I didn't have the phone by accident. It was left outside of my apartment in hopes that I would find it. It made sense, didn't it? That silly, flimsy case would never have protected the phone from the hard concrete. So why did they want me to have it? Clearly they wanted to harass me. Okay, but for what reason? I thought back to my dad. He was a cop. Maybe it was someone he pissed off. Although it seemed unlikely, I was pretty far from my hometown. Had I pissed off anyone lately? I racked my brain, but it came up empty. I didn't have enough daily social interaction to piss anyone off. I'm being honest. But they had to know who I was. They followed me into the club, they taken my picture, and they sent the picture right when I picked up the phone. Just as this thought registered, the phone went off again. Without any hesitation, I just picked it up, for crying out loud. I didn't know what to think. But this time I actually got a response. Hello. It was a random voice. I didn't know what to think. I just continued with the call, not normally. Trying to get this person, whoever it was, to get me, you know? I was calling to see who this phone belonged to. It's mine. Give it to me. I'll be there shortly. Who is this person? Does she know my address? Whoever she is, she's using a voice changer of some sort. I need it. It's mine. Who the hell was this person? I honestly felt like she was setting me up. I had to do something. With no effort, I called the cops, and a moment later, they arrived. You can't leave me. I ended the call, and just before they got there, I suddenly heard the phone start beeping rapidly. Okay, I'm done with this. Whoever's playing with me, I need them to stop now. So I gave the phone to the police. They analyzed it and told me that this person was actually a woman that has been on the wanted list since the early 2000s. And she has a daughter that works along the side of her. She must have set me up. I told her about the girl in my high school. She sits near my table. She always looks at me really weirdly. I wanted to share this story with you all. Hopes that you might like it. When Ellie told me this story, she actually said the high schooler was arrested, so don't worry. I forgot to add that in there. Anyways, I just needed to finish this here because it's too long for part 1. So I'm going to leave a link in the description for a part 2 for you guys. So just click the annotations to watch all my other videos, and I hope to see you guys around in the next video. Peace out.